Have you ever thought about how crazy athlete contracts really are? And no, not just the hundreds and hundreds of millions or the length of time, but some of these contracts change the writing. Today I'm excited to share with you some of the craziest contracts in sports history, well, at least modern history. David Beckham is a name synonymous with soccer greatness, and his move to the LA Galaxy in 2007 marked a huge turning point for Major League Soccer. Beckham's contract with LA really just wasn't an incredible sports deal, but it honestly changed soccer in the United States. Beckham signed a 5-year, $250 million contract, but it wasn't just about the base salary. The contract included a combination of the salary and also revenue sharing, and it's everything from tickets and sponsorships to all of the food and drinks that are sold at the stadium. The biggest win for Beckham, though, was the fact that he actually negotiated in the agreement that he could purchase an MLS team when he retired for just $25 million. And I know $25 million isn't just $25 million, but when you talk about the fact that he bought Inter Miami, that's worth now $1.03 billion, I mean, you do the math. And when you look at it, the talent pool and just professional soccer as a whole in the US has gotten completely better. Even though it may still be somewhat of a retirement league for the world's best players, I think over time and when you compare it to then, it's significantly better. I mean, look at what New York City FC is getting for that stadium. It's crazy. So 2 MLS Cups, an MLS Best 11, and really just being one of the greatest of all time, I'd say this contract worked out for him. But as you know, not all contracts have happy endings. I'm sorry, Deshaun. But no, not that. We're going to talk about something that is actually even more joked about for so many different years, and that's the contract with Bobby Bonilla and the New York Mets. The contract is so unusual and, quite frankly, so ridiculous that baseball fans actually celebrate July 1st as Bobby Bonilla Day. In the year 2000, the Mets agreed to buy out the remaining $5.9 million of Bonilla's contract. However, instead of paying him up front, they struck a deferred payment agreement. Starting in 2011, Bonilla would receive payments of $1.19 million annually up until 2035. And since it's 25 years, by the end of this arrangement, Bonilla will have earned a total of $29.8 million from the Mets, which is significantly more than the $5.9 million. As a Mets fan, obviously it's an absolute joke, but it's exactly what you would expect out of the Wilpons at the time and just the financial situation of the Mets. If you're not familiar with the backstory of the Mets and their finances, I mean, maybe another video, but Fred Wilpon, who was invested in Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, as many of you are probably familiar with, but if not, like I said, I'll make a video, let me know. The expected returns for these investments just made the deferred payment seem like a smart move at the time, but fortunately for the Mets, the Madoff scandal absolutely exploded and left them with hefty annual payments for Bonilla and hefty interest as well. Bonilla's contract is just literally the purest form of what can go wrong if you do not handle the finances properly for your entire billion-dollar sports organization. No, kicking the can down the road does not always work. I don't care what you've seen from the Dodgers or the Chiefs, whatever it is, and we'll talk more about that in this video, obviously. While Mets management might regret the deal, obviously Bonilla is smiling ear to ear until 2035 and maybe forever. From an incredible deferred payment, let's move right down the road to the New York Islanders and their signing of Rick DiPietro. Rick DiPietro, the former NHL goaltender for the New York Islanders, signed one of the longest and most controversial contracts in NHL history. In 2006, the New York Islanders inked DiPietro to a 15-year, $67.5 million deal. 15 years. Even in baseball, 15 years is crazy and pretty much unheard of. And at the time, I can't even imagine. I was 7 years old just getting into hockey. I can't imagine if Twitter existed right there. Oh my goodness. Because even today, the contract raises eyebrows. DiPietro's contract was meant to secure a cornerstone for the Islanders' future, and the deal included a no-trade clause and was structured to give the team some salary cap stability over the long term. However, DiPietro's career was plagued by injuries which significantly impacted his performance and availability, obviously. He would play 318 games for the Islanders, winning just 130 with 16 shutouts. Now, his goals against was 2.87 and save percentage was a .902 in his 11-year career with the Islanders, which isn't bad, but by 2013, the Islanders decided to buy out the remaining 8 years on DiPietro's contract, and he would receive payments of $1.5 million annually until 2029. This decision gave immediate financial relief, but obviously kicking the can down the road causes issues for a long time ahead. From the ice rink where they love to fight, let's go to the boxing ring with Canelo Alvarez and his contract with DAZN. One of the biggest names in boxing, Canelo Alvarez, signed a groundbreaking contract with DAZN in 2018, and this deal was not only the largest in boxing history, but also one of the most lucrative contracts in all of sports. Alvarez's contract with DAZN was worth a whopping $365 million for 11 fights over 5 years. This partnership aimed to revolutionize the way that boxing is consumed. I mean, going to a subscription-based model allowed more viewers around the world to get access to it. The contract also included significant payouts for each fight, as well as opportunities for Alvarez to earn additional income through sponsorships and endorsements associated with his bouts. Under this deal, Alvarez continued to cement his legacy as one of the greatest boxers of this generation. His fights against top-tier opponents drew massive viewership numbers, fulfilling the promise of the DAZN partnership. The financial security provided by the contract allowed Alvarez to focus on his training and performance without worrying about the business side of the sport, which is generally a huge concern in combat sports. Less than a fraction of 1% of pro boxers make over $1 million a year. Most pro boxers make less than $50,000 a year, and many barely make poverty wages. It's a tough life being a boxer, and they're just fighting to reach their biggest payday. And think about that. They're fighting. The toll on the body to be making $50,000. Canelo's trying to set the stage. There's significant potential in the digital media landscape for all of sports, including combat sports, and I think that that's probably the avenue that they'll go forever, or for at least for the future. But let's get back to the diamond for another long-term bust in the Giancarlo Stanton Miami Marlins contract. In 2014, Giancarlo Stanton signed what was then the largest contract in North American sports history. Miami Marlins secured Stanton's services with a 13-year, $325 million deal, which made headlines and set way new benchmarks for player compensation in all sports. And the contract obviously was there to make Stanton the face of the Miami Marlins for the foreseeable future. The deal included a full no-trade clause, giving Stanton full control over really where he wanted to go, and also gave both teams opportunities to opt out at multiple points in the contract. I mean, Stanton was one of the most premier power hitters in the league at that point. 3 years into the deal, though, Stanton missed nearly a full season in 2015, but did deliver on the field with his incredible power and production, earning MVP honors in 2017 after a season where he hit 59 home runs. Despite winning the MVP award, the Marlins went 77-85 and just had complete issues building an actual successful competitive team around him. So he got shipped to the New York Yankees. Once again, the Marlins are a prime example of, although you're securing top talent, you also have to understand the risks and actually manage them properly. Now here's one that kind of makes sense and maybe worked out depending on how you want to look at it, and that's Mike Trout and the Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout is often regarded as one of the best players in MLB history, and he secured a contract that matched his immense talent. I mean, in 2019, he signed a 12-year, $426.5 million extension with the Los Angeles Angels, and it set another new benchmark for player compensation in baseball. Trout's contract was not only the largest in MLB at the time, but also one of the richest contracts in sports history. It included a full no-trade clause, ensuring that Trout would remain with the Angels for the entirety of the contract, unless he chooses otherwise, but he's yet to do so. And the contract was structured to provide Trout with financial security while also allowing the Angels to build a competitive team around their star player. However, they've clearly failed to do that for now, I don't know how many years. With an average salary of $36 million, which could be $66 million with his talent, it just blows my mind that he's still on the Angels and whatever. If you're a baseball fan, you understand. Honestly, he's underpaid. With multiple MVP awards, numerous all-star selections, and a reputation as one of the game's best all-around players of all time, he's consistently shown his worth. Even if he's not been available, what are the Angels without Mike Trout, to be completely honest at this point? Or for the last 10 years? But let's get out of Mike Trout and do one more baseball, and that's Bryce Harper's contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper's known for his star talent and charismatic presence on the field, and he signed a monumental contract with the Phillies in 2019, 13 years, $330 million. Once again, one of the longest and just largest contracts in MLB history. And Harper's contract was unique in several ways. It included a full no-trade clause. It also includes Now, it also includes a full no-trade clause, which hopefully ensures that Harper will be the face of the Phillies, or at least a cornerstone for years to come. But the contract also doesn't include any opt-out clauses, which is unheard of. A 13-year deal that doesn't have any opt-outs on either side. So Harper is with the team, and he wants to be, and I guess they want to be, that relationship forever until his career's over. With an average annual salary of approximately $25 million, the deal was spread out to help the team manage their payroll while retaining one of the league's premier talents. Since joining the Phillies, Harper has continued to deliver on his promise. In 2021, he won National League MVP, and he's further solidified himself as one of the greatest players of all time. He's even transitioned to a new position at first base, which is not an easy one, and he's excelled at it, which is not very common at the end of someone's career unless they're moving to DH. They made the World Series and the NLCS in back-to-back seasons and currently have the best record in baseball, so I'd say Harper's contract has done absolutely wonderful things for the city of Philadelphia when it comes to baseball and its fans. All right, let's start pumping up the numbers here a little bit. We move over to the soccer world, or football for everyone else other than Americans, and let's talk about Kylian Mbappe with the club that he's leaving, but it's his contract with Paris Saint-Germain. Mbappe is one of the brightest young stars in soccer, and he signed a colossal contract with PSG in 2022. The New York Times calculates that the 3-year deal was worth an astonishing $681 million to the Frenchman. His basic wage was around $6.5 million per month, which gave him an after-tax monthly salary of nearly $3 million. This, however, was only one side to the massive contract. His deal also included a staggering $180 million signing-on bonus spread over the course of his 3-year contract, and in addition to the signing fee, Mbappe also got a loyalty payment for each year he remained at the club. The first installment was thought to be about $76 million, and it increased every year that he stayed at the club, and he was there for 6 years. And Mbappe continued to excel and get better as he got older. He helped PSG win numerous titles and made significant impacts in the UEFA Champions League. This mega deal really does underscore the increasing importance that organizations are putting on performance-based incentives, and players seem to somewhat like it. Not so much agents, but players do. However, as many others on the list, all good contracts come to an end as Mbappe is signing with Real Madrid. He'll be looking at getting paid $16 million per season over 5 years, plus a $161 million signing bonus. Let me know if you want a video on that as well. But continuing in this world, Cristiano Ronaldo is, of course, going to make this list on his contract with Al Nassr FC. This deal, worth $200 million per year, is the largest in sports history. Ronaldo is the highest paid athlete ever now. And as many know, Saudi Arabia has made a significant push into professional sports to bring it over to their side. So his contract with Ronaldo was way more than just a sports agreement. It was also there to really elevate and make Al Nassr FC a high-profile team. The deal included substantial commercial and image rights and made Ronaldo not just a player, but a major marketing asset for the club. The sheer size of the contract reflects Ronaldo's marketability and his continued performance on the field, which is obviously some of the greatest ever. His ability to draw crowds, sell merchandise, and generate, immense media attention was a key factor in the negotiations. And since joining the club, Ronaldo's really done his job well. He scored 64 goals and really done his job as a market. And since joining the club, Ronaldo has done it. And since joining the club, Ronaldo has done his job well. I mean, he's scored 64 goals, and he really fulfilled the strategic moves behind so. Since joining the club, Ronaldo has showcased that he is not done. Since joining the club, Ronaldo has continued to showcase his skills and be a great investment for them. He's scored 64 goals and really just has fulfilled the strategic side of the contract outside of that. He made an immediate impact on the global following of the club as well. Just on Instagram alone, they went from 860,000 followers to now 26.2 million as of recording. And he's likely to get rewarded for all this, as he might get a contract extension at 40 years old. But of course, no video that mentions Ronaldo can go without mentioning Messi. His contract with FC Barcelona was historic for many reasons, so let's dive into it. Lionel Messi, widely considered as one of the greatest soccer players of all time, signed a monumental contract with FC Barcelona in 2017. The 4-year deal was worth $674 million, which was also the largest contract in sports history at the time. Some further detail of the contract included the fact that the winger earned a total fixed income of $168.5 million per season, which increased depending on individual and team accomplishments. Oh, and he also received about $140 million from a renewal fee and another $96.4 for loyalty bonus. Yeah, I would say that they wanted to make sure that Messi was the face of their club for at least the 4-year deal. And during the contract period, Messi continued to perform at an elite level. He led Barcelona to numerous titles, breaking multiple records, and his ability to influence games and draw global attention made him just an invaluable asset to the club. I mean, that Messi Barca jersey is a staple in every single country across the world. And speaking of jerseys that are everywhere, let's turn to gridiron football in the Kansas City Chiefs contract with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, already considered one of the NFL's GOATs, signed a record-breaking contract with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2020. And yes, I'm talking about the 10-year deal worth $503 million that broke headlines and really everyone's minds at the time. And Mahomes' contract was groundbreaking not just for its size, but also the structure. The deal included $140 million in injury guarantees and a no-trade clause, which provided Mahomes with significant security while also ensuring that the Chiefs retain their franchise quarterback for the long term. The contract perfectly reflected at the time Mahomes' crazy value, the fact that he won a Super Bowl already in his 3rd year with the team, and we'll get into what else he's done since. But it was structured to provide flexibility to build a team around him. That contract, as the salary continues to go up, will not look as crazy as the years go on. And that proved to be massive, obviously. Since signing the contract, Mahomes has continued to excel to heights we've never seen. He's led the Chiefs to multiple playoff appearances and back-to-back Super Bowls in 2023 and 24. So think about that. Since signing the contract, he's been to an AFC Championship every single year. He has 2 Super Bowls. He lost in 1. Come on. The guy is absolutely worth his contract and is probably going to be a Chief for life. But we thought that about Tom Brady too, but I think this is a little different. Now, while the contract set a new standard for quarterback compensation in the NFL, it also highlighted the growing financial power of the league and the importance of securing top talent with a long-term, high-value deal. You've seen it now. Quarterback contracts have just become obnoxious at this point. Look at the Deshaun Watson guarantee, but I don't even want to talk about that further. But I would like to talk about flexibility and building around your number one star, as the Chiefs have, so let's talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers and their contract with Shohei Ohtani. Yes, we finally made it here, as I know a lot of people just think this is a crazy deal, as do I. Now, Shohei Ohtani is arguably a top 3 to 5 pitcher in the league and also a top 3 to 5 hitter in the league, so he signed a historic contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2023. The 10-year deal was worth an astounding $700 million, so of course that is the absolute highest total value in professional sports history. But the deal is absolutely nuts, so that's why I've put it basically at my number 1. When I think about it, this contract is just as unique as he is as a two-way player, so maybe it's not that bad. The deal included $68 million in deferred payments starting in 2034, which ensures financial security for Ohtani long after his playing days are over. Until then, Ohtani will only make about $2 million a year for the next 10 years. So maybe it can be Ohtani Day and not Bobby Bonilla Day, even though they're very different players. The contract is just the icing on top of the cake, though, for Ohtani and the Dodgers, because they structured it so that they can continue to hire insane talent and build a crazy roster that they have right now around Ohtani. And has it worked so far? I think so. Ohtani, although he hasn't pitched yet, has continued to just play unbelievably at the plate and drive another just crazy amount of fans to the Dodgers and baseball in general. Ohtani's currently batting over .320 with an OPS of nearly 1. He also has 14 home runs and 14 stolen bases to go along with that, so just wait until his arm is healed, huh? And there you have it, some of the most ridiculous contracts in modern sports history. From record-breaking sums to deferred payments, it just shows how valuable these players really are and also how irresponsible some of these teams are with their payroll. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you comment down below on what else you'd like to see. Check out my other videos as well, as I just love talking sports with you guys. So see you guys over there, and thank you so much for watching.